Good morning. Great to see you. It's always a pleasure to be here. It's exciting to have the opportunity to talk about the FSSD story. And I feel like I'm really mic'd up. I've got two mics on. So, I'm thinking, maybe I should break out in song this morning. I promise you, I'm not going to do that. That would be the fastest way to clear this room. So, all these mics, but no songs today. Thanks to Matt and the staff of Williamson Inc. For giving us this opportunity. It truly is an exciting time, an exciting opportunity, and we're glad to be here. We're going to start by talking a little bit about our district. We have 8 schools, 6 school board members. 4 of them are here today, and I'd like to introduce them at this time. I'll introduce them all, and if you'll just stand and wait for all of them to be introduced. Our chair, Robert Blair, Vice Chair Alina Bell, Secretary Kevin Townsend, Treasurer Robin Newman. Dr. Barker and Mr. Stillings could not be here today with us, but our board does a great job. They're very supportive of our students and our employees, and we're very grateful to have their support. Also, many of you know this, but they are really true public servants because they don't receive 1 penny of compensation. They do it out of public service and for public service, so we really appreciate all of their work, all of their dedication. At this time, I'd like our school administrators and the members of the leadership team that are here today to stand and be recognized. The previous 2 school years, our administrators, they were so creative in being able to cover our classes with COVID running rampant, and we had a lot of teachers out, a lot of students out, a lot of employees out, so they were very creative, and thanks to them, we were able to keep kids in school the entire year, the last 2 years, and so would you give them another round of applause, please, for that? Thank you. I'm glad to report that the current state of the FSSD is extremely positive, due primarily to a group that we talk a lot about, but today we're going to talk even more about, is our teachers. So today's presentation, we're going to focus a great deal on their work and how important they are each and every day. This morning we do have the privilege of introducing 2 of our finest teachers. And these are only 2 of our outstanding group, but they are great representatives of our quality and professionalism. First, Coach Bernard Jones. Coach Jones has been an invaluable asset to the Franklin Special School District since arriving from Clarksville to become the physical education teacher at Poplar Grove in 2000. Coach Jones has also served as a head coach in basketball, track, and football at both Poplar Grove Middle and in his current position as one of the 2 Freedom Middle physical education teachers. While Coach Jones has coached numerous championship teams over the years, his greatest impact, get this, his greatest impact has been as an outstanding role model for his students and his colleagues. His relationship with his students are second to none. He has been a district teacher mentor since 2012. While he never seeks the spotlight, and I can vouch for that, his numerous achievements continue to shine a light on his stellar career in education. He was selected as Coach of the Year in 2011 at Poplar Grove Middle, and 2016 and 17 at Freedom Middle. Coach Jones has also been recognized twice as a Teacher of the Year in 2005 and 2018. Thank you, Coach Jones, for the difference you make every day in the lives of your students. And with him today is his wife, Vanessa. Would y'all please stand? Next is Ms. Tammy Lovell. Ms. Tammy Lovell is an exemplary educator. She's been recognized as Franklin Elementary's Teacher of the Year, get this, 4 times during her tenure, and twice in 98, 99, and 2010, 2011, she was selected as the FSSD Teacher of the Year. Ms. Lovell began her career in FSSD in February of 1985 as a special education teacher. She probably doesn't even remember those days. Ms. Lovell she started in February, as I said, but at that point, her husband Gilbert, who's with her today, hadn't captured her yet. She was still Tammy Howard. During her 37 years as an educator, she's touched many lives and had many accomplishments. To connect with her students and families on a personal level, Ms. Lovell has attended many sporting events and graduations. On the weekends, she can be found in the stands cheering for her students. Many of her former students continue to visit her even after they leave the halls of Franklin Elementary. Because Ms. Lovell is so passionate about education and the doors it opens, each year she organizes the graduation walk. She personally invites former students who are graduating from high school or college to walk the halls of the school. Ms. Lovell also has a passion for music and performing. She composed Franklin Elementary's 4th grade promotion song, as well as leading her team in the 3rd grade performances of Polar Express and On the Radio. Ms. Lovell published her first book titled Me Mariposa. She reads the stories to her students to encourage them to be stronger writers and to follow their dreams. Ms. Lovell is also a mentor to new teachers and the teachers on her 3rd grade team. She participated in our New Teacher Initiative for many years by presenting to our new teachers on a variety of educational topics. Throughout her years as an educator, Ms. Lovell exemplifies dedication, passion, and a true love for teaching. Would you help welcome Ms. Lovell and her husband, Gilbert? We believe teachers are our inspiration and our hope. They truly work miracles every day. Their resourcefulness, their resilience, and creativity are boundless. We saw it during the pandemic, and we continue to see it today. This is reason enough to not take them for granted. Please indulge me for a moment, and I was going to ask you to close your eyes, but I don't want anybody to fall over or anything. So just be transported back to a classroom when you were in school. If you'll just take that opportunity. And do you see a favorite teacher? Do you hear that word of encouragement or hard truth that you really need to hear that maybe shape the course of your life? I know I can. Many. And there are many that probably gave me a lot of hard truths over the years that I needed to hear. We cannot thank our teachers enough. We should do everything we can to value them and their work. Well, you got to see it. In watching the video, these are some things we hope you observed during the several different aspects of a teacher's day and week, and obviously there are a lot more. But we hope you saw the importance of relationships. Quality teaching does not occur until you build those relationships and maintain those relationships. So that's a great part of the teacher's work day, is continuing to build those relationships. And through those relationships with individual students and groups during morning meetings and advisory sessions, you saw that. We hope you also notice the different areas of collaboration among teachers, which is key as they evaluate student data in order to drive our instructional process for groups and individual students. A great deal of this work is accomplished through our professional learning communities, PLCs. You know, education, we love education needs in education, and our acronyms, PLCs, also you'll see TCAP, which is a Tennessee Comprehensive. We'll talk about that later. But we'll try not to put too much of the education needs on you, but our professional learning communities are extremely important. We also think you probably picked up on the importance of small group instruction. This is part of our tiered instruction and helps to provide the additional support for some of our students. Additionally, we have ABST, Academic Behavior and Support Teams at each school. They meet to discuss and determine how best to support students who are struggling either academically, behaviorally, or both. Now, this is when you get to participate as an audience. How many of you have a kindergartner in school now, this year? Anybody? Okay. How many of you? Oh, okay, we've got one. How many of you have had a kindergartner in school within the last 10 years? How many have a grandchild that's a kindergartner? Okay, so you know and all of you were probably kindergartners. So at one point, I don't know how much you remember of that, but hopefully you can recall some of that. And I know since you have some recent experience with kindergartners, but I have two things to say about teacher responsibilities. And we didn't get this on the video, and you'll understand why when I explain. And that's probably a good thing. Well, and I mean this complimentary, but teaching kindergartners is truly like herding cats. Only most of the time, the cats don't have to wear clothes. But you know, we do expect kindergartners to wear clothes, right? Well, sometimes those first few weeks, that's a struggle for some of our kindergarten teachers. Not really, well, it is their struggle, but it's the struggle keeping their clothes on, the kindergartners. When they go to the bathroom, they just come out, here I am. So we didn't include that as one of the responsibilities, but that happens, already happened this year. The other thing, and we didn't capture this, Susanna, who was taking the videos, happened to go into a school office while she was doing the videos, and of course, we couldn't put it on video anyway. But here's a teacher, and Susanna sees her, and the assistant principal's with the teacher, and she's spraying herself with Lysol. And I said, oh my goodness, what was that about? Well, you know, kindergartners are not really coordinated yet. You know, they're still learning how to control their bodies. Well, this kindergartner had gone to the bathroom, number 2, and I'm sure had reached the flush and had fallen in. I know. So, of course, the child is upset, right? So what do you think a child does when they fall into the toilet, into the poo-poo, and have it all over them? What's the first thing they need? A hug. So the teacher got a hug and then had to do a lot of Lysol work and a change of clothing. Now, how many of you really think about bringing a change of clothing to your work? But anyway, that's another responsibility. I just thought you would love to hear that story about some other parts of our responsibility, our teachers' responsibilities. We've heard a little bit recently in the past few months about how teachers are not smart, or maybe they're not that they're not smart, but they go to the dumbest parts of an educational institution. But here's a little bit about our qualifications of our teachers. 30% have bachelor's degree, which is no easy feat, and then 70% of our teachers have master's degree or higher, which is, I think, phenomenal. When you look at Franklin Special School District's demographics, and I have colleagues saying that, you know, you live where there's only affluent people and your moms drop the kids off in their BMWs and they go to the tennis courts. So, you know, that's not exactly true. We have parents who fortunately are able to do that. But here are our demographics. 55% white, 27% Hispanic, 12% African American, 5% Asian, and 1% others. We have 10% English language learners. 12.4% of our students have a disability. When you look at percentage of free and reduced students, we have a total of 38% of our students come from poverty. Now, that's not always generational poverty. It could be situational poverty. But our challenge is always, and we never use an excuse of whether a child's poor or they have a disability. Excuses are not relevant in our world, in our district. But I think people sometimes do not understand how our school district really looks when you talk about our student populations. So you can see we have a very diverse student body, but we think diversity is a strength. We see it every day in our work, and we will continue to believe that it truly is a strength in the work that we do and a strength in our community. Let's talk a little bit about academic excellence. Again, this year, the FSSD maintained its long history of outperforming the state in every grade level and subject area. In fact, as a district as a whole, outperformed the proficiency percentages of the state by double digits in every content core area. So that is, we're very proud of the work that our teachers do to help our students achieve at the very highest levels. Our TCAP growth measures, the district achieved advancing designation. We also had 3 reward schools this year: Poplar Grove Elementary, Franklin Elementary, and Moore Elementary. Student well-being. That's been a concern for many years, and during COVID we saw more and more students who struggle with mental health issues or just social emotional issues. So that continues to be something that we have to focus upon each and every day. We have in-school therapists. Our partnership with Mercy Community Healthcare provides our students with access to those therapists in every school. Not every school every day. Some schools it's 5 days a week and some schools it's only 2 days a week. But that's a tremendous partnership, and parents, of course, are involved, and they have to approve that. And then we really believe that and work to establish a culture of belonging, because students are going to perform better. We all perform better in whatever job we have when we have that feeling of belonging, that we're a part of something. And we work extremely hard to create that culture of belonging. And we also have therapy dogs in every school. That happens to be Wilson. He's at Freedom Middle School. And Wilson, if you ever get a chance to meet Wilson, he is full of personality. Dr. Munez, assistant principal, and one of his handlers will attest to that. Here are a few more pictures of our therapy dogs. Maddie on the left, she's our star, and she's our first, and she's here today. If you hadn't gotten any love from Maddie, we hope you'll get some love from her and some therapy. But therapy dogs, and here you only see, well, you got Maddie, you've got Bella on the top in the middle. You have Tobin, who's at FIS in the middle. And then we have Star, and I told you the story about Star last year, so we won't go back into that. But Star really is a star. But all of our therapy dogs provide great service and support, not just to students. We all need a little therapy every now and then. So adults love our therapy dogs as well. Keeping students safe. Well, the title probably should say not only keeping students safe, because our goal is to keep everyone safe in our schools. And it's everybody's job to promote a safe and secure environment. We're especially thankful for our partnership with Sheriff Rhodes, Mayor Anderson, and the County Commission, for the SROs to all our schools, and we also have a great partnership with Chief Faulkner, Mayor Moore, our city alderman, and Mr. Stuckey related to crossing guards at all of our schools and additional patrols during busy times. As you saw from the video and these pictures, the SROs are an integral part of our communities, our school communities. They participate. I don't know if you saw our opening day video, but we even had some SROs that did some dancing. So if you hadn't checked that out on YouTube, you may want to go back and see some of our dancing SROs. Completed projects, we just completed last spring. Our Performing Arts Center is a state-of-the-art facility, $15.9 million, 34,400 square feet, 484 seats in that auditorium. It is a phenomenal facility. This year, we're only using it for school purposes, but in the future, we do think that community organizations will want to use that, and we're working on some organization of that to make that happen. But I think people will enjoy, well, I know they're going to enjoy that facility. Completed projects also, we include our Legacy Gallery, which is a part of the Performing Arts Center. That tells a great history of our school district. So if you're ever in the PAC for a performance, or if you ever want to visit, if you'll let us know, we'd love to show you the PAC and our Legacy Gallery. Completed capital projects, we're almost there with the two fields, softball and baseball fields. These were constructed with a partnership with the City of Franklin. The fields will be used by both the FSSD teams and the city for some tournaments. We want to thank Mayor Moore, the Alderman, Mr. Stuckey, and Lisa Clayton of the Parks and Recreation Department. They are beautiful, first-class facilities. Future opportunities. We are applying for Innovative School Models Grant for Freedom Middle and Poplar Grove, $500,000 each, and the purpose is to boost student and workforce readiness in Tennessee. We will work closely with Williamson County Schools, and I didn't say this earlier, but we really have a great partnership with Williamson County Schools. I really enjoy working with Mr. Golden. He's a friend and a colleague. So we look forward to these grants and how we can work together to help our students be better prepared for the workforce. How can you help? Partner with us. We have many partners in here. We have so many partners. If I tried to mention all of you, I would really have run out of time already. So, and I think my time is about out. But those pictures there include kids. Obviously, they're kids, but they put on their picture what they wanted to be. On these pictures, we have a builder. We have a future Derrick Henry. We have a scientist. We have an Olympic ice skater, a carpenter, and a dentist. And I had to look to make sure I spell this correctly. Paleontologist. So share your knowledge with our schools. Support the schools and our teachers. I know that's a big ask, but you've already, most of you that I know, you support. So we're really thankful for your support and your partnership. Looking forward, we're looking forward to the ribbon cutting for the the baseball and the softball fields. We're looking forward to our Be Nice Week, November the 7th through the 11th, and our participation in the Veterans Day Parade, November the 11th. We've been doing this since it was reinstated after 9/11. And we're excited to be a part of that. We're excited to be part of the Be Nice Week. because, you know, that's pretty easy for us to do. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but we can all be nice and respectful to each other in our society. And that's the one thing that, for many years that I've been here, I'm really proud of this community and how they stick together, come together, and they're respectful and nice. And we saw some anomalies, I hope, in some situations over the past 2 years. But that's an easy thing for us to do and support, is being nice to one another and teaching kids at an early age. And we enjoy being a part of that. We thank you. We'd love for you to stay in touch. We've got a Facebook page. We use Twitter. So we have our organization, our website there. So we look forward to having you stay in touch with us. And we so appreciate this opportunity to tell the FSSD story. And we thank you for your attention today. And we hope you have a great rest of the day. And I know I look forward to hearing from Jason Golden, because obviously they're doing great things in Williamson County schools. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Dr. Snowden. Greatly appreciate it. Great job today, and thank you so much for your leadership over the many years of Franklin Special. Really appreciate that. Every 2 years, we as an organization and a community go visit one of our peer cities. We've done Dallas, Denver, DC, I guess we like the Ds, and this year we're headed to Phoenix in January in their region. A few years ago, we went to Denver. We toured a school in one of the suburbs called Rock Canyon High School. In that school is a graphic design and printing company that serves that district, but it also serves the entire community as a for-profit business run by the students. This was, in part, the genesis for Williamson County Schools Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center that serves all Williamson County high schools. And if you were at Outlook Williamson earlier this year, you got to actually hear from one of the success stories there. If you're not a mentor, your company's not engaged with the EIC, come see me or any member of our team after this, and we're happy to get you plugged in. So it's my pleasure at this time to highlight 2 student companies and give you a sense of what happens at the Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. So at this time, I'd like to introduce you to Rhea Whitlock. She's an 11th grade student from Centennial, and Annalee Neely. She's a 12th grade student from Franklin High. The stage is yours.
All right, can you guys hear me? Sorry, I'm kind of short, so I gotta move this. Well, hello, my name is Annalee Neely. I am a senior from Franklin High School, and I am the founder and owner of Black Swan Creatives. Black Swan Creatives is a business I started in 2017, and there I specialize in watercolor portraiture, so I do lots of paintings of families and homes and houses and pets and all the fun things. But I also do lots of work in logo design and small business branding. I do lots of t-shirts and apparel. If you stop by my table back there, which I have lots of original artwork that's available today, but I also have a pair of running shorts that I designed last year that is being printed and sold all over the country, which is super fun. I've been with the EIC for 2 years, and it's a wonderful program that has really helped me in my business. So yeah, this is me. This is what I do, and I would love to get in touch with you guys. So come say hi.
Hi everyone, my name is Rhea Whitlock. I'm a junior at Centennial High School, and my business is Written by Rhea. I'm able to work on this through the EIC this year. This is my second year at the EIC, and I'm super excited about it because I was actually able to take my personal business and turn it into a class project. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. So my company, Written by Rhea, is a more flexible planner system. So I don't know if any of you here have heard of a bullet journal, but basically it's a very niche topic, so I understand if you haven't. But it's basically you create a planner by yourself with just a blank base. So what I've done is I've created a system that combines that system and a traditional planner so that you don't have to do any of the work. So Written by Rhea is helping you organize your life your way without the extra work. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Written by Rhea, or check out our website, Written by Rhea, and we also have a table over there. So please come say hi. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we would like to introduce the director of our school system, Mr. Jason Golden.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to mess around with a microphone. That's my life. I get to mess around with a microphone every time I come up. All right, so welcome everyone. And Dr. Oldham, thank you. I don't know where you're sitting, but thank you for the Tennessee Tech supporting us. Dr. Snowden, David, thank you for that. You know, we're going to have a similar format and through 12:55 to some of what Dr. Snowden presented. As an example, he mentioned something about singing. David, I actually did that once. I was at a Rotary Club meeting, and I spoke to the Rotary Club, and I think actually Sheila Cleveland, one of our board members, was there and asked me to speak. They have a four-way test, and I sang it to the tune of "Oh, When the Saints Go Marching In." So those of you who are in Rotary, that was the last time I'm going to sing. But to start, just like David Snowden did, I want to welcome our leadership team. They do an unbelievable job, and just as David said, it's volunteer work, y'all. It is community service. So our board members who are here today, we have 12 board members, a good number are here today. Drayson Beasley is here. If you would, you all stand up and wave. Rick Wimberly is here in front. Donna Clements, Jenna Priya, Josh Brown are all here, so thank you all for being here. Also, we have a number of staff members who are here, so y'all, if you would, stand up. And with them is Laura Clayman, who is our Williamson County Education Association president. So thank you all. Just as David said, it's going to be tough for me to thank everyone. There are so many of you who are doing so much. I will at times mention somebody, but I want everyone to know there's somehow, some way that everyone in this room is making a difference for public education here in Williamson County, and I want to thank you all for being here. So we have a PowerPoint, a look inside Williamson County schools to give you a little bit of the state of the schools. I'm going to give you some data today, and I'm also going to talk about some of our strengths and some of our challenges as we progress so that you all get the year snapshot of where we are and where we're headed. So as we get started, Carol, I'm going to use the green button in hopes that it will slide it. Green button? Yes. All right, y'all, we got to celebrate. You know, for many years, Williamson County Schools has done a really good job, and I think you know that. This year on TCAP, which is grades 3 through 8 measurements of students in those 4 core content areas. English, what we call ELA, because as David said, we live by acronyms. Math, social studies, and science. We were first in achievement in every single category statewide. Yes. Y'all, it's incredible. We look back, we know we've done well. We know those who've come before us have done well. We couldn't find that we'd ever done that before. First in all 4 categories. It is amazing. It is amazing what we're doing. In so many ways, we're better than we've ever been. And we've been good, y'all. We've been great. And in many ways, we're better than we've ever been. First in all 4 categories in TCAP. Next bullet, I have district-wide 5s in growth. The state measures us on 2 main standards. 1, our student achievement, and 2, student growth. And they have a measurement that tracks what is a year's growth for a student, and then they go on both sides of that. A 3 is generally described as a year's growth. District-wide, we had 5s, the highest possible score for growth. So not only are we doing well in achievement, but we're growing our students at an incredible level, at an incredible level. And it just astounds me when I see this data, knowing that we're doing so well, and yet we find ways to continue to grow. And I'm going to speak to that in a little bit when I speak to our challenges. Next, top overall in state on end-of-course exams. Those are some of those high school exams where students are tested statewide. You got to pass those classes. You got to pass those state tests. Some examples of that are English 1, English 2, Algebra 1 and 2, Geometry, U.S. History, some of those core focus points for the state. We were tops overall in the state in end-of-course exams. There are 147 school districts in Tennessee. Number one, number one, number one, number one. We've never done better. Even with all these challenges, it's pretty amazing. Exemplary school district, we've got that here, but the truth is when you see what our students did, of course, you know, given the state measures, we're an exemplary school district. I am so proud of what our teachers and students have done. A couple other milestones. This year, it was just announced that we have 79 National Merit semifinalists, the most in district history. Last year we had 72. It set a record by 20. The highest we'd ever had up to that point was 52. I generally attributed it to COVID, that we fought that battle. Dr. Snowden mentioned COVID, so I figured I could too. We fought that battle back then, and I believed last year we had that jump from 52 to 72 because we fought that battle to stay in school when so many others didn't. And so I figured we'd go back down because this is a national measure. Students are competing nationally. And yet, this year, again, we jumped from 72 to 79. We had installed some thoughtful planning, some thoughtful prep for our students in the PSAT, which gets you that national merit recognition. And that thoughtful prep, the work with students, has made the difference in continuing to grow them. And that means dollars. A lot of state schools, it's just an automatic. Your national merit, you've got full rides. At other private schools, it makes a huge difference in tuition. So we're so proud of our students in that. Related to that, you see the bullet points, 29 reward schools, the most in history. We're doing better than ever. It's incredible. We continue to grow that. We had another Blue Ribbon School announced just a couple of weeks ago. Grassland Elementary is our 15th National Blue Ribbon School. And I drive our communications director, Carol Birdsong, crazy because I occasionally tell this story. I was in high school in metro Atlanta. My senior year, my high school was named a National Blue Ribbon School. A couple of years ago, I drove by the school. They still have it posted outside for 1985. It is a big deal. That national Blue Ribbon status is a big deal. We have 15 of our schools who've received that recognition. Next, continuous improvement. And I tell you all, that success that I just bragged about, that's tenuous. Success is tenuous. How many of you know in your business experience, success is tenuous? You can't just sit and rest. How many corporations have you seen that failed to innovate and disappeared or shrunk to almost nothing? We know in our profession, success is tenuous. We know that for us to continue to grow, we have to continue to innovate and find ways to really drill down to those standards and help student mastery so that those students are more prepared when they leave us. And Dr. Snowden alluded to some of these. We used the acronym PLC, Professional Learning Communities. There was a slide where he mentioned that. Let me tell you what that means. Our teachers need to and are finding time with the help of our board to strategically plan what we call common formative assessments, TEST. Formative means to see where our students are, as opposed to summative, the end of it. Common formative tests, common formative assessments, to double check and see how their students are mastering the content in every core class that they're taking. So this year at the elementary level, we've been able to add some afternoon times, 11 particular days, where they spend time after those assessments to look to see how well they taught those students those standards that the state expects us to educate students on. And when they see that one teacher's students might have done a little bit better on a particular standard, they have time to collaborate and grow each other. And so teachers are working together to find ways to, in essence, individualize how individual students are mastering standards. And if it's apparent that a particular section of their coursework over the course of the year, the students aren't quite getting it, we have time to spiral back. Our teachers sometimes reassess and rewrite their pacing guide over the course of that class to make sure that our students have every opportunity to master all those standards. That's how we're growing them. That's one example of how we're growing our students. It takes thoughtful prep from professionals, and it takes time from professionals. That's our challenge. That's where we are. That's where we're going. You remember the old tradition of, I don't want this teacher, make sure I have this teacher, somebody across the hall? How many times, think back to your time. What we are working on is that rising tide raising all boats. We know that there's growth and volatility in the teacher market, and I'm going to speak on that. But that extra time for teachers to collaborate and grow each other is going to be key to where we go from here, knowing that time is key. A couple other things. I mentioned those two bullet points already. Maintaining a supportive environment. I introduced 3 focus points for our school administrators this year. One was celebrate teachers. We're going to spend a little bit of time today doing that. Dr. Snowden touched on that. Y'all, the profession, those who choose it, it's incredible. It's personal and it's professional. We also talked about growing in collaboration time, which I touched on, and the third key point that we've talked about this year was improving student safety. And I mentioned mental health supports. We've added additional counselors at the elementary school level. We've added time with what a company called STARS, students taking a right stand at the secondary level so that students have those extra supports. We've seen an increase in mental health needs in our community, and we reflect the nation in that. So we've added supports. Dr. Snowden mentioned the Sheriff's Department, the City of Franklin. They serve us in those same ways. I got to mention one other little tidbit. The State Highway Patrol has made a commitment to have a greater presence on our campuses. So you may see troopers drive through our school campuses. We've seen examples of that. I am so pleased that, and I know Representative Whitson is here, I am so pleased that the state is taking this seriously too and made a move right then where they could change a practice to increase student safety. It's an important issue for all of us, so thank you all for doing that. So you may see a trooper. When I see a trooper, sometimes my heart beats a little faster, right? Y'all, law enforcement support is necessary and needed support. And it's about relationships, and I'm pleased that we've got that vertically among our locals and our state. And I mentioned this next thing, meeting newly arrived students where they are. We continue to grow. And Matt alluded to this when he introduced us. Schools in Williamson County, we know it. We know folks are attracted to us, and they want what we have. And when they come here, sometimes they don't know, right? Because they've come from a different environment. And we know that we have to grow our students. And I've seen 2 key areas where that's true. One, many students are arriving here a little behind, just to put it the way it is. I've got RTI mentioned up there. That's another one of our acronyms, Response to Intervention. We screen students to determine whether they are ready to receive grade level instruction. If they're not, we have interventions. We tier it, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 interventions, and we make sure that we grow those students where they are. We meet those students where they are. The second big piece I've seen is when we have so many new folks coming in, it takes some time to help them grasp that we have a culture of learning. There's a reason why we do so well. There's a lot of reasons why we do so well. One big reason is because we spend the time in instruction. And so that's a constant effort. Franklin Special does the same thing, making sure that students know that you're here to learn. So when somebody's brand new and they've been in a different culture, they have to grow in that. I've spoken to so many teachers who've come from different districts and said, what I love is I'm not spending all my time on discipline. But it's not something that's permanent. It's something that takes common, constant effort among all our leaders. And so that's the commitment we have, to make sure that we maintain that culture of learning even with that growth. We serve everybody. I think you all know this. Every national argument is often fought on school campuses. And I get it, and I appreciate it, and I know why. It's because children are important, and we know those are here. We know those battles will be discussed in the context of schools. We need to stay focused on our mission and make sure that we do right by students in fulfilling our mission. And our board set our vision statement. Williamson County Schools will provide a supportive environment that challenges students to excel in academics, athletics, and the arts. A supportive environment that challenges. That's quite a combination. And that's where we are. With everything we do, it's that focus, and then drilling down to the details of it. So we talked about celebrating teachers. Dr. Snowden introduced a couple of his teachers. Y'all, I've got a couple to introduce myself. We have, and you see this right here, Harriet Medlin is beginning year 55 in Williamson County Schools. Harriet, if you would, stand up. She's teaching at Brentwood. When she was starting her 51st year, we did a little video celebrating that. And she is an exemplar for our teachers, that emotional and professional commitment. I got to ask, anyone here, did anyone have Miss Medlin? Look at it, there's a few hands, yes. Very nice. I'm not going to ask you your grades, but I guarantee you got support from her in those classes. So thank you, Ms. Medlin, for all that you do and that continued commitment. Such an exemplar for our folks. Ms. Willie Dickerson. Ms. Dickerson. And Ms. Dickerson's husband, Michael, is here with her as well. How many of you had Ms. Dickerson in some way or another? Okay, there you go, same guy. All right. How many of you faced discipline or had your children face discipline with Miss? Okay, there's some hands coming up. Yes, yes. I want to tell a juvenile court story or two about Miss Dickerson from over the years, but Judge Guffey, I'm going to leave it alone. We can have those conversations elsewhere. Y'all, the juvenile court, everyone in this community supports what we're doing. We have regular conversations with the juvenile court to find ways to continue to support and grow our students. Ms. Dickerson, thank you for your work. Right now, Ms. Dickerson is one of our executive directors for secondary schools. I have known over the years that there is no one better, I have never seen anyone better than Ms. Dickerson in growing administrators. I'm going to speak in a minute to the shortage of teachers in this country, in Tennessee, and in Middle Tennessee. The next thing coming down the pike is a shortage of good administrators. I'm reading about it in the national publications. Ms. Dickerson is growing our administrators so that we can continue the great work that we do here. All right, thank you guys so much. We have unbelievable teachers, and I'm going to give you a little bit of staffing insight. I've got a lot of data up here, but I want you to focus on a couple things. One, the most number of teachers we've ever hired in any particular year up until this past year was 403. To give you just some idea of that, we have about 3,300 total teachers, maybe 2,800 or so are full-time. We hired 561 new teachers this year. The teacher market is becoming more mobile. Those of you who are in business, you often deal with mobility in an employment situation. By and large, it's been fairly rare for schools over the years. But now more than ever, teachers are becoming more mobile. They'll move from place to place over pay issues, benefits, working conditions, kind of those key things that you all work through in your environment. And we know that now more than ever, we need to work on retaining and supporting our teachers and recruiting at the same time. And you see some detail about where they're coming from. I want to mention that last bullet, 19% from WCS classified staff. Classified are the staff members who are not the licensed teachers, support staff, generally speaking, teachers' assistants, et cetera. Tennessee is working hard on Grow Your Own, finding those who might have made some progress in their educational history and just need to take a few classes to become licensed teachers. Y'all, it's saved us in a lot of ways. You see that 19%, but it is not the core of what we're about. Our teachers at the undergraduate level, when they're young, get those degrees. That is by far the vast majority of our teacher cadre, our teacher cohort. I'm using a lot of C's. We need to maintain that channel from the undergrad. We're filling in gaps with Grow Your Own. It's not going to save us. It's picking up those extra pieces. What Tennessee Tech is doing with math teachers and with science teachers, that is what is going to sustain us over the course of this next generation. So thank you for that. All right, that's a challenge. We've added recruiters. Our school board and the county commission actually added an additional recruiter position in mid-budget year because we know it's coming. We know the work is going to continue to be challenging. I want you to see this. Our teachers are staffed at 98.5%. How many of you are 100% staffed in your business? How many of you might be in the mid to high 90s? Sometimes, none of you are raising your hand. It sounds like you're lower than that. 98.5 sounds good. Statistically speaking, it's good. Compared to many of our neighbors, it's good. We've done a better job than some of our neighbors. But for every spot where there's a missing teacher, we don't have somebody waiting at home with an appropriate license to come in and take over. The numbers of teachers is dwindling, so that's a constant challenge, a constant battle for us. So I gave you some data there. I'm not going to speak to every detail, but I want to give you that one example in the smaller font at the bottom. Think about the scale of what we do. I've got 10 minutes, Carol's telling me. I'm on track. We're good. 12:55, by the way, in case you guys are anxious. We have 211.5 secondary math positions. That's grades 6 through 12. 211. That's a lot. That's a lot to recruit. We have 6 vacant positions. Every one of those 6 vacant positions is extremely painful. We need to be 100% staffed. We're at the stage now where that's an almost impossible ask that takes constant effort. So those who are missing that, it takes creativity. We're calling retirees. We have super subs in there. Teachers are helping out with those gaps where their neighbors are. It's very important to us. That is a major challenge for us. I want to mention the next item, classified staff that I mentioned earlier. I want you to see some of these percentages for staffing. Middle Tennessee is growing, and you all know that the job market is getting tighter and is getting tougher. Special education teachers assistants, we're staffed at 91.5%. Those are those teachers who are committed through a student's individualized education plan to get that additional service. It's a more restrictive environment to have a teacher's assistant than it is to not, but the IEPs call for it. So we continue to look for that support staff. Largely, those are the individuals who are going back and getting their teacher's licenses because they learned that they love what they're doing. That's that grow your own that I'm talking about. Bus drivers, major pain point. We're staffed at 82.5%. On paper, we have every single route filled, but somebody's going to call in sick every day. We need more bus drivers. If you have retired, you're one of our prime candidates. You're looking for something to do, get yourself up in the morning, have a break in the middle, maybe play a round of golf if the weather's good, come back and do the afternoon route. We would love to have you. We train everyone. We have a state-certified training system for that. Those are all challenges, and you see that reference to cafeteria staff as well. So we talked about the state of the schools. That's where we are. We've knocked it out in ways we've never done before. We know we have to continue that, and we've got a thoughtful plan to continue to grow our students. We're addressing growth, students coming in at different points in their career, and we've got a plan to work on that. But at the same time, we've got a shortage of teachers nationally, and we're facing that here in Middle Tennessee. We need to continue that effort. We've got staffing challenges there. So, let's talk about y'all. Be a volunteer. Matt, thank you so much for introducing our 2 students from Franklin and Centennial with the EIC. I'm going to ask for a show of the hands. How many of you have volunteered at the EIC? I know some chamber members. Thank you, guys. Y'all, that is, I hope your experience has been good there. I have not talked to someone whose experience has not been great at the EIC. It's our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. We've done it with the support of Williamson Inc. to help grow entrepreneurship ideals and ideas in our students. And you saw a couple of great examples. I encourage you to get involved. How many of you actually have been to the EIC even though you haven't spent any volunteer hours? So I hope you see what I'm talking about with that example. We have so many other good examples of that. How many of you have participated in PTO events? Yeah, there you go. More. I ask that you continue to do that. Volunteer at the schools. Be part of it. I have on my PowerPoint a number. We had $11.2 million raised from our PTOs and booster clubs last year. Yeah, somebody who contributed gave a whoop. Thank you all so much. One thing that I know about that is that's very personal to parents. They're going to support their children, and they're going to support the work we do, and thank you for that. That's our highest ever. It's our highest ever. Post-COVID, we thought, things will settle down. That is the most financial support we've ever gotten from our parents last year. I don't doubt that it's going to continue to grow. But more important than that is that time. that time that so many parents spend supporting us. So we strongly encourage you all to continue that. Carol, if I'm not mistaken, how much time I got left? 5 minutes according to Carol. We're working on it. We're going to make it. Be a WCS insider. Attend a fine arts or athletic event. There's some really neat stuff going on. I don't have on the PowerPoint all the state middle school championships we had. I don't have on the PowerPoint all this, Carol's shaking her head, all those state championships we had. It's about growing students, and if you do it thoughtfully, if you do it with good planning, and if you do it with good people, the success will come. And that's what we're finding here. Go enjoy a ball game. It's Thursday. Middle school championships are going on right now on Thursday. Friday, you know, the football games, there's a lot of good stuff going on. In the theater, y'all, oh my, the theater. Watching our students perform, it's incredible. I get chills talking about it. I want you to experience that as well. Spend some time. I got to warn you, those of you who are still writing checks instead of using your ATM card, we're going to a lot of electronic tickets. So check ahead for that. I also encourage you to find our app on the App Store, and that's actually on our last slide, but I'm going to mention it now. You can actually, when you get the app, you can click on events. You can pick the schools that you want to get the notifications on so that you know what's going on in our schools. Next item, and this is really my final item, and it's my ask of you. We are starting our strategic planning process, our next iteration of our strategic planning process this year. It is very important to Williamson County Schools that you as business leaders participate. Very important. We've had a lot of change in the last 6 years or so since our last strategic plan. Our community has grown. It's become more diverse. The national issues are impacting us more now than they ever have before, at least in my experience. Maybe dating back to the Vietnam War, it's impacting us more. We need you to share what matters to you in our strategic planning process so that we can develop new goals to grow us from here forward. So be looking for that. You can get that on your app. We also have In Focus, and Carol, if I'm not mistaken, we have it here. We have a lot of communications tools. I encourage you all to participate and watch. We're going to make sure we continue to work with the chamber so that we can continue to grow with this community. And I hope and I pray that you continue to support your teachers. Dr. Snowden mentioned just visualize what it was like in classrooms. Visualize what it would be like if you were a teacher. We got to appreciate those who take that on. It is good, hard work that has good results for our students, and it matters to us, and I know it matters to you. So Matt, I'm done. Oh, whoa. We got a video. 3 minutes. Sorry, Carol, but I am walking off the stage. Enjoy the video.
Teachers are important because you need them to learn math, science, social studies, and related arts.
They help you grow and expand your knowledge so that when you grow up, you'll have like a successful career.
With teachers in the world, you have a group of people who are dedicated to helping the younger generation learn.
They help students become smart.
They help us not only academically, but also help us build our character and just find out who we are as people.
They can help you learn and help you write stuff. And without them, the world would be so different.
They're there to teach you everything that you need to know academically, but they're also there to shape you as a person, shape your studying habits, shape your work ethic, and everything like that.
They help you learn things and keep you safe at school. They help me learn and protect me. And also, my mom's a teacher.
They provide us with an education, and for some students, that school is just a safe place for them, and teachers are always there to talk to and build relationships with.
They bring you brightness and joy, and they just always seem a happy heart.
They help us because there's something hard. They can help us on it because they're nice. And they help us if we're in trouble. and we're hurt or something. And the way they can be, and the way they're really nice is that they let us have a recess break.
My teachers help me if I don't know something. They help me out with things and help me through them. All I have to do is raise my hand and they'll come to me. They help me learn, and if there was like a problem, they can help you fix it.
If there were no teachers in the world, I think the world wouldn't grow. People wouldn't make new inventions, make new discoveries, or be better people. The world isn't a place worth living in if there aren't any teachers.
I know they say that being a teacher is the hardest job of all. It's probably true because, I mean, you have to deal with all those kids.
We wouldn't be able to know, I mean, anything. We would have to figure everything out on our own.
No one would know how to learn. They wouldn't know how to write, they wouldn't know how to read, they wouldn't know how to do anything.
No one would know anything, so no one could get any jobs. So then every job that someone got, if they did get one, they would fail at it, and then society would all collapse.
It would be harder to get a job because you wouldn't know as much and you'd probably just work for your parents.
Without teachers, we would lack, any skills. You would lack math skills and reading skills. We would also lack a role model. You would lack someone to help support you throughout your academic experience, and you would not have advice and a role model in your life.
If there was no teachers, I think the world would fall apart because there would be no education going around and people wouldn't know how to do their job.
There has to be teachers in this world. Do you hear me?
We love our teachers.
We love our teachers.
We love